Hi, thank you so much for joining us today for the Reflections Poetry Release Party and Reading with Faith Foley. My name is Sarah Elgatian. I'm the marketing person at the Midwest Writing Center. Super excited to be here with Legacy Book Press and Faith Foley and one of my young emerging writing interns, Christina Franks. We're in for a real treat today with Faith. She's a young local poet who managed to put together an entire manuscript on some really difficult topics, and that is so impressive. Just in 100 different ways to put that much together, and then to be able to publish it, to be able to come out in public and talk about these things. I am really excited to have this event. And for those of you who are here with us, hanging out with us, we're going to have a giveaway. Thank you so much to Jody Tui and the Legacy Book Press. We've got 2 signed copies of Reflections to give away and some Reflections themed accessories to go with those books. So hang out, participate in the chat, and that is what will do it for you to enter that drawing to win. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to give it to Jody. She's the director of Legacy Book Press. She's going to talk a little bit about her press, which is what is publishing Faith's book, and about her relationship with Faith and why this is such a great day to be here. A great book, a great event. Welcome. Thanks, Jody. It's your turn.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And thanks to Sarah for hosting us and the Midwest Writing Center, who she's hosting us on behalf of. So thank you. So I am the owner, operator, publisher, one-person show of Legacy Book Press, which is a full traditional publishing company that publishes personal stories that are told via poetry, fiction, nonfiction, or any combination thereof. We are open for submissions, so if you have something like that, book length, go ahead and send it. So I've known Faith for a little over 15 years now, since she was born. She's my niece, my brother's daughter, one of 4. Her younger sister, Isabel, is 8, and she has 2 older sisters, Justine and Maddie. So Faith has had a little bit of a difficult time, I would say, or challenges growing up. And she's had some trauma in her life. Family dynamics aren't the best. And so I know that, she's having a hard time with that at one point. So, I think she saw me write and thought, I'll try it. And she does other art too. She does painting and drawing and lots of stuff. So when I heard that she was writing down what she was feeling and everything, I was so excited. So I was like, keep writing, get something lined up, I'll publish it. So pretty much is what happened. I wouldn't say I started Legacy Book Press because of her book, but I knew that when I decided to start it, that hers was one of the books I definitely wanted to publish. We have 3 books out so far in Faith, and then I have another six or so coming out over this fall and spring. Let's see what else. So if there's anything anybody else wants to know, you can ask during the question and answer period. I'll be here too, if you have publishing questions or whatever. I just wanted to mention that I'm doing, in addition to the giveaways that Sarah talked about, I'm doing another kind of giveaway since, this is virtual and you can't really have someone sign your book. So anybody who emails me at, you can see this. Oh, that's backwards. Okay, anyway, never mind. It's Jody, Jodie, at legacybookpress.com. And I think Sarah will probably stick that in the chat too. If you go ahead and email me your receipt, a copy of the receipt, a picture, or even you with a picture of the book in your hand, I will send you in the mail with your mailing address, of course, a bookmark and a book plate, which is Faith's signature, so you can stick it in your book and you'll have a signed copy. So I think that's all I have. The other thing is Reflections is truly a family affair. Not only is Faith my niece, but my daughter, Kaylee, Tui, designed the cover. So, and I wanted to mention too that we are giving 10% of the profits from the books to Family Resource Center. We picked Family Resource Center because Faith has had not only just one challenge of addiction in her family member, but she's been a victim of sexual assault as well. And Family Resources is an organization that kind of covers that for all ages too, for adults. So that's why we chose them. So anything else you can ask later, but other than that, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Jody. That was a beautiful introduction. This is my cat, Carter. He really likes it when I'm on camera. I'm going to now introduce our one of our interns at the Young Emerging Writers internship, Christina Frank. She's going to be running the show from here on. She's going to do the Q&A with Faith, and yell her in for a treat. She's going to be a fantastic little host. A fantastic host. Take it away, Christina.
Faith started writing poetry with a writing assignment in the 8th grade. She began this collection in the spring of 2019 and finished it in the spring of 2020. In addition to poetry, Faith enjoys expressing her creativity through painting and drawing. She also enjoys raising chickens and playing Sims. After high school, Faith plans to study to become an interior designer. She lives with her dad, dog, and sister. Take it away, Faith.
To read that. Okay, the first one is called Ages of My Mother. Birth me when I was 0, neglect me when I was 1, make me shy when I was 2, make me confused why I'm alone when I was 3, make me play alone all day when I was 4, teach me independence when I was 5, make me speak no sound when I was 6, give me a younger sister when I was 7, try to buy my love when I was 8, make me feel incapable when I was 9, leave me when I was 10, scar me when I was 11, hate you when I was 12, miss you when I was 13, search for your warmth, never to find it when I am 14. And my next one is called Do We Know? The reminiscence of cocaine upon your Cupid's bow, and your pupils sprout bigger than the sky, filled with black and regret. Insert that needle of impair into your forearm and feel the vibrations racing through your soul as you can barely hold your weight onto your feet. Tumbling to the side you rumble, you think to yourself, do they know? Do they know what, do you ask? Do we know that you're a failure, giving in to the devil's calling and letting us down? Do we know that you're gone, never to be found again, sinking into the ocean of desolation? Do we know that you're hurting, and the opiates are the only thing that insensate your vitality? Yes, it seems that we grasp your actuality. You've just slipped away too far for us to care. And this is Doll. You're just a porcelain doll getting others to fall at your very feet. Good perfume and pearls, you make their head whirl, and now you're never going to make them never want to leave. They toss you and make your wilting body shriek. Your eyes are black and you never feel defeat. They do what they want and you certainly don't care, as long as they give you a gram and get out of your hair. Your nose is so sore from snorting that snow, and following up you take that hell dust, making your skin dull and never glow. Oh, how you love being played with by all of your friends. They give you so much candy to make you feel like you were 10 once again. This is called Head in the Clouds. I've got my head in the clouds, no time or courage to figure it out. They may be fluffy, they may be bright, but they are affecting my vision on this journey through life. Don't know which road to go to, which words to say. The only thing that gets me through this is the thought I'll be okay. I'm alone and afraid with my head in the clouds. All I need is a balloon of self-doubt to pop so I can start to come down. This one's called Death. Death is a dream that ever so often overtakes my mind. Sometimes I think about it all the time. The last breath of a lifetime, eyes rolling back into your head to look at your thoughts, your regrets, your questions, your memories. Lifeless in a casket, taken by the world, neck and wrist filled with roses and pearls, snowy skin and subtle grin, your soul was taken by the wind to be carried on to somewhere unknown. Death can be scary, death can be cruel, but death could be an escape from the even scarier, crueler world. This one is called I Want It to Be Christmas. I want it to be Christmas, but it feels like Halloween. The haunting lights, the pumpkins with glowing glares. I want it to be Christmas, but it feels like the eternity of darkness, water swarming my head, rushing in the sound of despair. I want it to be Christmas, but I sleep soundly in the middle of June, in the cold, lonely depths of the ocean, tears and screams being held in my soul. I need it to be Christmas so people can see that I'm in fear, so people can see that I'm too cold to speak up, so I can finally feel okay until January. This one's called Big Kids Blue. Back and forth goes the swing on the playground. We all grew up, but we still think so young. We stopped playing tag and instead we're running from our problems. No more playing catch with the ball, we are now catching feelings. This all couldn't be more real, even though I want it to be a dream. I wish I could go back to that park where everything was in its place the way it had seemed. This one's called Listen. Quiet is your specialist, silence is your career. You don't have to talk now, no need to fear. Listen to your thoughts and no other living soul. You're the only one you trust now, don't waste your time on the old. Smiles on the surface, grudges underneath. Your thoughts are the real you, no need for others to preach. Preach the lies and the anger, resentment they have, for you will not listen because your good outweighs the bad. Your heart is triple the size, bigger than most. Their negative whispers are like a ghost, unheard, unseen, unfamiliar to your brain. Let them drop the mic, tumble off the stage of rumors and drama that were made. As you were not there to see, the bad and hypnotic they were made to be. This one's called Sleep Paralysis. I feel stuck. I can only move my eyes and my heart beats 6 times its size. The man is watching me, fingers on my thighs. I don't feel comfortable with this and he knows why. I feel like I'm experiencing sleep paralysis, feel so helpless, all I can do is cry. Then I get gaslighted to make me feel like I shouldn't even try. It was just a dream, so tell me why I'm still scarred. If anything, it was a nightmare, the worst one by far. Years later, I'm still left broken, having flashbacks of the flashlight shining on me in the dark. You don't realize that I'll never be the same. You don't realize that you are the one who made me this way. I can't walk down the street without feeling defeat. I can't be hugged or touched without feeling that familiar pain. Can't you understand that I don't want to feel this way? Thank you for flipping my world upside down, making all of the positive turn into a frown, such a ray of sunshine. This is called Room. Sitting in the dark, the crisp chill down my spine, the dryness of air, the silence over a decade haunting my consciousness. Is it okay to be this way? No communication for hours upon hours. The spot on my wall is my only entertainment. The curtains with the subtle sinking light are my company. Is it okay to stay this way? Eye circles deeper than the scars in my heart, dry throat in the hours I can't grasp onto what to say. Chapped lips, deep regret, I'm surrounded by black. Is it okay to look this way? My heart is in my chest, only a little bit left to hold. My head is outside of my box, floating away to the world of empty thoughts. My eyes are frozen, looking into the dark and cold to never feel satisfied. Is it okay to feel this way? I'm depressed, and it's not your fault. It's all mine. This one's called Good Day. The sun shines down on a warm September day, the wind ever so slightly blowing my hair in spirals. I hear the sound of the leaves bristling, and I see the trees swaying softly as I walk on the track of life, following the lines going forward. The wind picks up. The sun stops shining. The subtle sound of leaves rustling down turns into chaos. I stop walking on the path and try to get into cover. The rain starts to fall drastically. The spirals of my hair turn into a tornado, rushing and raging onto my head. The ocean of my tears are rising. I can't hold myself together. The rain keeps on falling. Pitter, putter, patter. I thought it was going to be a good day. I thought it was going to be a good day. I thought it was going to be a good day. This is toxic waste. I'm like toxic waste. I boil and blister till I peel. Secrets and shame ooze out of my heart, and I break down with the burning sizzle of sadness. I can also radiate to others. I make them rattle with annoyance and anger, along with concern and confusion. Nobody knows why I'm so radioactive, slipping through everything I slightly grasp until all is dissolved, brittle, broken, shattered. I guess it is normal for me to be so sour. The fiery passion rushing through my head, it overpowers anything that tries to help. I'm left alone to figure things out on my own. I only do this to myself. This one's Wait. I want to cry, but the tears won't escape. I really did expect this. Why did I forget that was the fate? Was ready to be betrayed, but it took me by surprise. I didn't know there was such evil in those ocean blue eyes. The anchor is sinking down into my chest. Pick off the weight before it becomes too late. My heart is getting heavy, the melancholy in my soul. I thought things were getting better. I'm not so sure anymore. And this is the last one, named House. They fall down, crash to the floor. The smoke of disappointment is smeared across the ground in the basement of my expectations. You built up the foundation, then picked up the sledgehammer. There goes the moral and hopes disappearing into thin air. The windows of love have cracks that were caused by the occasional hits of your fingertips, the same ones that hold me once a week where everything seems right. 6 other days and I'm a ghost to you. You're still stuck on the one whom you'll never let go. And I'm just a backup plan for when the blueprints to your house are lost in the abyss of this imaginary world.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was such a good way to take like your trauma that you've been through and to make awareness to it. And I love how deep you made each poem. And it was just kind of really fun to see as another teen author. And I think you handled that and did that really well.
Thank you.
I have some questions if you're ready to answer them.
Okay.
Okay, so my first question is, this book touches on some pretty intense topics that any writer, let alone a teen, would have difficulty talking about out loud. What gave you the courage to write and publish this volume?
I just want to spread awareness, and I want people to know that they're not alone. And I want people to read this so they can know that this is a thing that happens and that the world isn't all like roses and rainbows, and there's a dark side to everything. So
Yeah. Also, Reflections is about your battle with things like depression, mental illness, and PTSD. What's something you would want your audience to know before reading this?
that this can touch on some sensitive topics and it could trigger some people. So I just want them to know that I'm okay now and I'm not in danger and that it's okay. Everything's okay.
In your poem, Goodbye, you use the line, I resent your laugh, your smile, and the way you don't hold yourself together. Can you explain the backstory on this line if you feel comfortable?
This poem is about my old friend. We're not friends anymore. And it was because after we stopped being friends, I would see her in public and stuff. And it just angered me to see her happy without me. And it was just jealousy. And because it was a constant reminder that I wasn't good enough for her.
I noticed your images throughout the book. Are the images a reflection of how you felt while writing, or were they added later?
I feel like I made most of that artwork during, but some of it was before, and it is really a reflection of how I feel. Some of them are. Some of them are just my creativity, I guess.
Do you draw and write a lot?
Yeah, I do. I used to draw a lot more when I was younger, but I've kind of steered away from that, and I'm focusing on writing more because writing is more of a coping mechanism at the moment for me.
So do you cope through drawing as well, or is that mostly just geared towards writing?
Yeah, when I was younger, I really depended on drawing to help me, but now drawing is just kind of a beauty thing instead of my emotions as much now.
Yeah, I get that. Is writing something that you want to continue on in the future?
Yes, I have started a new folder in my notes, and I already have almost 50. I started in March.
If you were going to start a new book, what do you think you would cover in that book?
I would probably just cover more of my emotions and how I feel, and maybe how I got out of it.
So it would be more like less of what you're dealing with and more of how you're dealing with it. That's awesome. So 10% of your profits go to family resources, which is honestly so amazing that you're willing to give some of your profits to an organization that helps so many people. Why did you choose that organization or to donate at all?
I chose that organization because I know a lot of families that need help, and there's just so much chaos in the world nowadays, and there's a lot of broken families, way more than even just 10 years ago. I know so many people who have horrible family situations, and I like how this organization can help people like that.
That's amazing. The final poem in the volume is a letter to your audience. Why did you feel that this was an important piece to include?
It's kind of just saying that I don't want people to view me differently because they've read about my life, and I'm still the same person as I was before they read it. And it's just to really let them know it's kind of like a conclusion of everything together, just to kind of wrap up the book.
Who do you think or hope your audience will be?
Just people who are dealing with similar problems, because I feel like it could really help them to know they're not alone.
So would you say that your main purpose and writing in general is to make other people feel like they're not alone?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for sitting down and talking with me. Is there anything else you would like your audience to know?
Just never lose hope.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Christina. Thank you so much, Faith. We do have a couple of questions in the chat if you've got time for some surprise questions, Faith. I know we've got some time, but I'm not sure how you're feeling about surprise questions. Yeah, okay. So I'll be honest, the first one's from me because I'm excited to ask this. I played around with the cover of your book to do some promotion of it, and I saw the cover a while ago, and I was like, dang, this is so pretty, and it's called Reflections, and there's a mirror. I get that, that's so cool, but I hadn't yet read any of the poetry, and I haven't read all of it, of course. But the butterflies work in such stark contrast with the gray and muted colors with the mirror and the, sorry, not gray, but the background images. I'm wondering, I know that you didn't make the cover, but I'm wondering if I know there are definitely themes of metamorphosis through the book, but do the butterflies come up in your poems, and was the metamorphosis intentional? How did you come to that?
Yeah, butterflies are kind of like a sign of change because it's like the butterfly effect and stuff like that. And I feel like everything happens for a reason. And the butterflies just like signify how I'm getting lighter throughout life and things are changing for the better so far. So, yeah.
Totally. We've got a lot of compliments on you in the chat here too. And here's one that I'm gonna ask a question based off. Oh, Shishwen Collins, an upcoming book release we have for Meadows Writing Center Press, asks. She says, "Congratulations, Faith. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, both in writing and in life in general?" So I'd like to start out, if it's okay to out you this way. Faith is 15, so this is really, really impressive. But 5 years is 5 years would put her at 20 is is what I'm saying. So Shishwen asks, where you see yourself in 5 years, both in writing and in life?
I'm really not sure because I just kind of go where life takes me, but I'm hoping that I'm going to have a good education and I don't know. I'll just keep writing. Maybe I'll have another book published. I'll just see where life takes me.
Big deal. No big deal. Just publishing books. Uh, I know in your bio it says you want to go into interior design. Do you, to me, that seems like an inherently creative field, and I see that you're drawing and I see that you're writing. What appeals to you about interior design, and how does that work in with the rest of your art?
I love the video game Sims and I also love Minecraft. I like the game, and those I just like putting together rooms and having everything contrast and look I just like the final result of everything, and I like being in a neat, clean, like beautiful space.
I can see that being very therapeutic. I thought of it in like a creative way and didn't think of, the way that we make art as, which you said a few times already today, as a coping mechanism. but yeah, I never thought of that as like how arranging your house and your space and controlling your environment can be really relaxing too. I never got to play video games, but I always really wanted to play Sims. So I love that that inspired you there. So I'm going to read some of these comments to you, and maybe you've got responses to them. We've got one that says, such great writing about such deep thoughts and understanding of the human condition. When I was young, my thoughts were shallow, and I mostly just thought about playing football. I am in awe. Do you think that this is pretty common for teens? And what do you think is, so Ken, the comment is from someone named Ken, talks about how you have an understanding of the human condition. And I think that that's probably something that teenagers maybe get a better understanding of, but a worse reputation about. Because, you know, we're also at that age wrapped up in school and the things that go along with that. So do you think that that's pretty common, or do you think that more people than not are grappling with bigger things?
I feel like some people try to push it away, and I feel like some teenagers just want to like live their life before they have to grow up. But sometimes like teenagers don't have that choice. I feel like most people understand all of that. They just kind of push it away. So I know a lot of people who push away their feelings and hold everything in, and I try not to be like that because it's just a dark hole if you do that.
Yeah, avoiding it doesn't really make it go away. It just makes you stop thinking about it. I think that's a really good point. I know I'm even guilty of that a lot of the time. I'm like, but what if I don't think about there being a pandemic? You know, something simple like that we're all thinking about. We have a comment here that I really, really love, and which is why I'm going to read it to you. It's from someone named Mary. She says, "Never lose hope is a great sentiment and a promise to fulfill." I'm guessing that you, Faith, have thought about that a lot in order to make that your
Yeah.
the message you want to leave your audience with. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with hope,
Well,
and maybe your relationship with your dog Hope?
Yeah, I have days where I just really don't want to do anything. I won't be able to get out of bed and I just want to sleep. And I just have to remind myself that I have a future and I have so many people that love me and I can't lose hope because I have to keep going no matter what and I can't give up.
I love that. It's really difficult, I think, to come to terms with. I think a lot of the time when bad things happen, it's just natural to become hopeless and to lose faith. I realized that your name is Faith and your dog's name is Hope, and that's really cute. But then I just said them in the same sentence so many times. So I think that's really, really admirable, which is mostly what these comments say. Everyone is very impressed with you and your outlook. Is it challenging to stay positive?
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely more of a negative person and I've been trying to work on that because my thoughts are very, very negative and I'm trying to turn it around and just think about what I have instead of what I don't.
That's really, really impressive. I know. I'm 30. My friends are all in their 30s, and we struggled with that too. So I think probably you're way ahead of us. I don't think we even tried at your age. But especially given, like I said, I've read a lot of the book, and you speak with great understanding and with great like nimbly about really difficult topics. And one of the things about difficult topics is they're then difficult to speak on, and even more difficult to speak eloquently on. So I imagine that you spent a lot of time thinking in order to get these words out, especially in the way that you did. I noticed from going through the book that you also play around with format a lot, the physical way that the words look on the page. Can you talk a little bit about that process and how you began to experiment with that?
Well, I feel like I need some words and phrases to stand out because sometimes some things I say I really want to come across to people more than others. And I just like to space it out so people know when like to do the reading, I guess, to just know what words are more emphasized, I guess.
Would you mind picking a poem that has a slightly different format rather than the traditional, the margins don't go all the way across the page? Would you mind holding one of those up to the screen and then maybe reading it to us so that we can hear how something like that looks? I know that's a lot of pressure. We didn't talk about doing that in advance, but I have your manuscript up on my computer, and I'm like, I would like to hear how that sounds. I could actually do a request, but that feels rude.
Like, so, yeah, I don't think she knows what you mean.
I'll grab it. I think Christina has a question to jump in with.
I don't really have a question, but I know that even at just age 18, writing like stuff I've gone through is really difficult because I have trouble placing my thoughts in ways that people would understand. I just like really admire your courage that you have and the way that you were just willing to like lay it out and let everybody know that you've gone through something. I think it's even more incredible that you wrote it because you want people to help. You want to help people, and I really am proud of you. I don't even know you, and I'm proud of you. And I just think that I admire you as a person, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna idolize you one day, and you're gonna be a role model to so many people who are going through things.
Thank you.
That is really, really sweet. I really love that. So you have a piece, Puzzles of Love. I would still call a poem, but it looks more like prose. I would say Help Me is a little non-traditional because you've got the bold. And you don't have to read those, but I think it would be really cool to hold those up to the camera if you're okay with that.
Yeah. Puzzles of Love.
And I can also share my screen, but I think it's cooler to see it on paper.
We're just trying to find it. Puzzles of Love. Where'd it go?
Sure.
Oh, there it is.
It's like a page, I don't know. And there's a puzzle piece.
I guess while I'm looking at your puzzle piece, same as You're Sinking Slowly. That also read to me like a poem, but it is all the way across the page. Is there an illustration you're most proud of in here?
I don't know. Maybe the butterfly. I like the butterfly.
The
I just
butterfly
love
is gorgeous, and the flame I'm really into.
Here's a butterfly.
Honestly, that's and it matches. I mean, it's black and white, but I think it matches really well. There's butterflies on the cover.
Yeah, your drawing skills are like, whoa, I could never do that. I can't even draw a stick figure. That was just blew me away when I was looking at it earlier.
Thank you.
There's one that's like a person that's in really bright colors. I don't know if you can find that more quickly than I can, but that one's one that really impressed me. The way it goes between toxic waste and the next section. Felt like it worked like I can share it if you can't. Yeah. Oh, it's not in color too. I might share my screen. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So this image, can you see it, Faith? I know you know what it looks like, but this image really works. It's between a poem that you read to us, Toxic Waste, and the next section of the book here, Love and Heartbreak. And I feel like it works so much with the reflections because it looks like shards, but also like all the different things that make up a person. I guess I don't need to be talking about it. You can tell me about it.
Oh, it's called Fragments of Emotion, and it represents a lot of different things. The first thing I would like to touch on is the background. It's all black, and it's kind of like a sign of isolation and loneliness. And then the fragments, they're all broken because emotions are all over the place, and also the colors represent different emotions and feelings, and they're all broken and alone.
Right, they're totally not alone either, though, too, right? They're definitely like disjointed. They're not touching, but you can also see how they. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it like a lot, but that image really struck me. Was there any were there any poems that you left out, like they were too hard to put in, or you didn't really want anyone to see them?
No.
No. Well, you are brave. I have definitely refrained from sharing work because there were people I didn't want to see it. That's really brave. And even, the ones that you read to us, I feel like there was a universality to them that maybe we haven't acknowledged. Where even while you're talking about very specific experiences, there's been something in each of them that's definitely going to touch, I think, all people. Are there poets that I know that you started when you were in class. Were there poets that inspired you to get writing, or was it just the writing exercise itself?
My aunt was one of them.
Oh my God. I'm not going to cry on camera, but that's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Now, so I remember in April we had the National Poetry Month meeting for reading at the Midwest Writing Center, and Jody was reading her niece's poems. Was that you?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I had no idea, and I definitely thought it was an adult. I was like, "Why isn't your niece here? Oh, she must be busy at college or whatever." So that's awesome. Jody, do you mind telling us about the experience of reading someone else's work for them?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I think it was easier since it was her and I knew what the background was of the poems. So that made it easier. I mean, I asked her if she would record herself and send it, but she said she'd rather have me read them. So that's why I did that. Yeah, so it's kind of like getting into someone else's head, but in her situation, I guess that it wasn't too much of a stretch since I'm just so close to what she's been through. So
I'm just going to tell you guys my whole life story. This is therapy for me, I guess. I feel like I'm really close with so most of my family and some of my aunts in particular, but I cannot imagine sharing my poetry with them. Maybe even today, at least not in any early form, not without like it already having been published, so I can be like, look, it's done. That sounds so hard and also so fortunate. I'm really really excited about your relationship. That sounds really special. So how did that work when you first I don't know, when you first learned that Faith was writing, or when you first showed Jody your work? How did that go? It was a couple years ago now.
Yeah, I was super excited. I think her dad mentioned to me that she was writing, and I was like, great, tell her to keep going. And I remember she just showed me on her phone a couple of the early poems she did, and I was just blown away by how beautiful they were and how brave they were and just truthful and raw. And I think that that's important. I think if anybody publishes any book, even if it's the furthest fictional thing from your life, it's still nerve-wracking and difficult. So it definitely is to, publish something so personal. And the first thing that you publish is definitely takes a lot of strength and bravery. And yeah, I mean, and my first book was a little bit like that. It was the poems I wrote when I was a teenager. So it's kind of a full circle thing, but hers are way better than mine. And mine took lots of revisions before I put them in a book. So
I remember the first time I experienced your writing was at one of the conferences, and I had known your name, but not put it together with your face. And I don't think I'd read anything of yours so much as I just knew you existed. And I was impressed by how you managed to keep something local, and to me, local often means like mundane, boring, and give it some girth, give it some depth. So I imagine that you're a really good person to learn writing with, especially if you feel safe sharing feelings with you. I'm just going to keep telling you how envious I am. Christina, are you ready to hop on?
Yes. Okay. Faith, you totally don't have to answer this because it's, personal, and you can decide what you want to say or if you want to say anything at all. So don't be afraid to decline me. I won't be offended. But do you want to talk about some of the trauma and stuff that you've been through, like some stuff that you've experienced, just so people can get a more of an inside look into you and your life?
Yeah, so one of the things is that my mother is losing a battle to addiction, and I have not seen her in almost 5 years. And I remember when she was here, it was just walking on eggshells. You never knew what was going to happen. You could never expect anything, really. And it was just kind of, I was always fearful, and it was scary. But now I am just learning to look at the future instead of the past. Another thing is that my childhood best friend's father sexually assaulted me when I was 11, I believe. And I was really traumatized by that, and I developed PTSD from it. And I've also dealt with just manipulative friendships and people, which has also affected me in some ways because I can't trust people as much now.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sorry, Christina, were you going to respond? I had a follow-up.
Thank you for letting us know what you've been through. I think that's just incredible to be able to write about it and personally talk about it. I'm sorry that you had to experience that. I can't even imagine going through half the stuff that you've gone through. So I think that it's just so encouraging and just so role model-ish. I don't know if that's a word, but just admirable.
It's definitely role model material.
Yeah, I can see, like I said before, I can see little girls looking up to you. So I hope that you continue to be this bright bubble of sunshine, and I hope that you continue later on to do more things and get your voice out there, because if you ever wanted to be an advocate for self-help or sexual assault or even just mental illness in general, you could totally do that. And I could see you being somebody who is the voice for so many people who are afraid to talk. And that's just an awesome thing to be able to do, because I know that I would never be able to do that. And I just feel like it's just so cool to know you, even though I don't know you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's definitely something I noted from your answer. You know, I think that once we experience something scary, not even scary, let alone traumatizing, it can be really easy to fall into patterns of accepting those toxic people. Like you said, you ended up after going through so much having toxic friendships. And it sounds like you managed to, especially I'm sure you're tired of hearing this, but especially at such a young age, learn to recognize those patterns. Were there things other than the arts and I guess probably having supportive people in your life? Were there other things that you have used, have learned, have resources that you've had that have helped you cope?
I have such a supportive family, and the friends I have now are also very supportive and loving. And I just tell myself that everything I've gone through has made me who I am today and has made me strong. I am stronger because of it, and I know without these experiences, I wouldn't be the same person, and I wouldn't change that.
That's such a beautiful answer. I think most people at any age would not have such a peace within themselves. You also said you wanted to make sure that people know that they're not alone, which I think. So I'm wondering if that if a lot of your hope to reach out comes from feeling alone and wishing there were people who would reach out to you. I didn't mean to answer the question for you. I just I recognize that.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to people who want to reach out to someone who's struggling?
Don't be afraid. Just do it and just help yourself and help everyone else, and it'll all work out. You just got to be there for one another. You have to work together to get through things.
And those situations can be really awkward, especially if you've never been in them and you're worried about someone. What do you say to someone who's worried about being awkward, who wants to reach out to a friend and it's something they've never done before, and it's going to be awkward, they think.
I know I have quite a few friends that don't share any of their emotions at all, and I remind them constantly that I will listen and I will help them. I will do everything I can to help them. And I just want people to know that you can reach out to people and try to help them because they may need it, and you may be the one to save them.
That's so beautiful and such good advice. All I could think of when I was asking was, so maybe it's awkward. And what you said was perfect. You know, let them know that you're there, and then they can speak when they're ready. That's really beautiful, and also low pressure too. That's really smart. All of the comments we have are about how cool or brave or talented you are. I was going to read them all to you, but they're all the same. They're all like, wow, over and over again. Lots of wow.
Did somebody, like, when you were struggling, who saved you or who helped you, or did you help yourself?
A mixture of everything. I've had really supportive family members, and I've had friendships, and I've also had things set me back. But I feel like in the past year especially, I've really helped myself because I was so negative, and I just didn't really take action to make myself better, and I'm going to do that now.
That's awesome. I love knowing that people who become advocates are people who have experienced the thing that they're working to help. And I think that that's probably where the most effective help comes from, you know, with empathy. I wanted you to know, somebody in the comments said, this is Kristen. She also loves how insightful you are at such a young age. She would say that your book is so important for teenagers to read. I love the idea you wanted to publish this to let people know they aren't alone. Are you interested in sharing your book directly with young people, and getting them in those hands, in other events and readings and stuff?
Yeah.
So I'm asking you this to let our audience know, based on your answer, of course, that it's probably totally great to reach out to Jody about having Faith read or speak to your young people, to your old people, to whomever you think will benefit from this. I feel like I'm gonna go and need to like journal or meditate or something for an hour after this. That's something also when I work with usually young people, because I tend to work with young people. That when something gets really tense, I like to, at the very least, I will do something to look silly or stupid to lighten the tension, or at least do like a because you know it does move your body, but it also at least makes you look stupid so other people laugh. Do you have any tools like that in your toolbox?
I try to be bubbly most of the time to people because my friends, when they get sad, I just kind of try to make them laugh, and I'm just bubbly, and I always encourage them and tell them it's going to be okay. It's my little catchphrase that it's okay.
Yeah, you are definitely bubbly. I've never met you. And I know the first time I sent you a message just to show you what I was working on, let you know, make sure we were in the loop. I was like, first I saw your profile picture, which is you in what looks like a prom dress, I guess probably like a homecoming dress, kissing a chicken, which told me so much about you. I loved it so much. I kind of want to be you based on that picture. And then when I saw you on Living Local the other day, I was just like, this girl is so tough and she is so bright. I don't know how you do that, but it's totally inspirational. I thought we were going to have another question, so I'm going to keep my eye out for that. Jody, do you want to talk a little bit about the process of publishing or the giveaways that you've got going on? I will start compiling our comments.
Okay. Yeah, I've been writing them on slips of paper here too, so we can just do it that way. It might be easier because we have like a very exclusive like in-person like party of people upstairs, like close family. So I put their names in there too.
Oh, I love that. Are they watching with us?
Yeah, yeah. So I have the Facebook streaming live through our TV upstairs. So yeah. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to point out too a couple things in addition to what Faith said about getting help if anyone needs it. In the toward the front of the book, the author and publisher's note, there is the several numbers for like your suicide prevention hotline, National Alliance of Mental Health, and things like that for, I guess, more anonymous ways to get help than going to a family or friend. Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely proud of Faith, of course, obviously. And I think what she's doing is really important. And I love that the last poem in the back of the book, because that's kind of how I feel about writing too sometimes, is like people think that who you are now is who you were when you wrote that, but who you were when you wrote that is who you were. I mean, a lot of it carries over and it's still part of you, but yeah, it's not exactly who you are. It's a snapshot to me, a moment in time. So yeah. I thought there was something else.
Sorry, I was fixing my hair and I had more to say while I've got my headphones falling from my head. Sorry. I did want to comment that, and I totally forgot. I thought that was so beautiful that right at the front of the book, you were like, here are places to reach out for help. And in each section, you have trigger warnings as necessary. I think that's really, really, really important. That's a new thing in the last couple of years that we didn't see much of before, and I'm so excited about that becoming the norm, because what is a trigger for me might not be a trigger for you, and it's important to have some warning about that. So I applaud you for including those. We do have more questions. I saw someone typing, so do you have a time where you sit down and write to keep your practice alive, or do you just write things down as they strike you? And then we've got another question to follow that.
I definitely just write whenever something comes to me. I will be laying in bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll just write. Or I'll be in the middle of a school day, I'll think of something and I'll just write. It just depends on what comes to me. And I'll have months where I'm not really that inspired, and then all of a sudden I'll be writing nonstop. It just depends on what comes to me, really.
And then does that tend to be, and I'm sure the answer is both, but does it tend to be more like you'll get a string of words in your head, or you'll get a feeling and an impulse? Or
I feel like most of the time it's a keyword. Like I'll think of a certain word like house or fire or something, and then I will think of different ways to put it and I just write it down.
That's awesome. I love too that you mentioned it could be 2 a.m. and you're laying in bed. I don't know if you're awake at 2 a.m. when you're doing that, but I've definitely woken up and been like, ah, crap, I got to write that down. You're never going to remember it later. And then the next question, do you spend much work with revising, and how do you go about the revision process? It feels like I'm adding on to this question. It feels like there's a really important authenticity to the rawness of a lot of your work, but it also doesn't feel accidental. It doesn't seem like what you're doing is scribbling and then like, okay, publish.
And most of the time, I really don't edit it much after I write it. I like to keep it really raw and authentic. And I will read all of my poetry over and over again, because I just like visiting back on the emotions and the feelings. But I usually never change anything about it except for maybe a punctuation or a misspelled word.
I meant to bring that up earlier too, and I'm sorry. I'll stop talking sooner or later. But I did notice that you got creative with punctuation a couple of times, and I think that's something that people are often scared to do. Is that something that you particularly like to play with, or did it just seem right in the moment? Or you said you moved around, so
It really just seemed right in the moment. I kind of just thought, oh, I'm going to put that there and this there. I really didn't think about really how it would affect anything. I just kind of did it.
That's awesome. I think that people go about writing in a couple of different ways, and one is the magic of the movement, the feeling, the raw emotion that brings you to the place, and the other is a more like measured way of documenting a thing. And I think that's really what makes art magic. But it's really cool to see which side you're coming from. Thank you.
Yeah, one thing that I'm sure that you noticed and other readers will notice is that nothing is capitalized. It's all lowercase. And part of that is practicality, because she wrote almost all these, I think, on her phone. So it was, you know, when you're writing in your phone, it's easier not to capitalize. So she's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go through and put the capitalize. I'm like, no, let's leave it like that, because it's kind of a nowadays teenager thing to, you know, with the texting and everything, you know, that things are in lowercase. So I was like, oh, let's leave it that way. It's a style choice. So yeah.
It's also, at least, I don't know if this still happens, but at least when I used to start out in like a word processing program, it would auto capitalize every line, which is infuriating, especially with something like poetry, where sentences don't follow the rules necessarily, the rules. So it can be really weird to capitalize something that's more of a fragment or a thought than a complete sentence. So I thought that was, I mean, it was obviously intentional, but I thought that that was probably some of the reasoning. More praise for you in the comments. Do you want to, all right, so those watching at home, now is your last chance to throw a comment down to get added into that drawing for a free signed copy of the book. Other people also hate the auto capitalization. And we've got some, is it Reflections bookmarks or a Legacy book past bookmarks? They're butterflies.
Oh, yeah. So if you, a reminder, if you just send your email, your address, your mailing address, and then some sort of proof of purchase, you with the book, you know, your receipt, whatever, I will mail you a bookplate with her signature and a bookmark. And I have the names. So yeah, if anyone wants to, I'm watching. So if you want to put in just even your name, say me or whatever you want to be entered in, go ahead and do that. One other thing that I remember what I wanted to say is, I think Faith's book is really important also, because someone in her situation, it would be very, very easy. And I think probably no one could blame her if she had decided to make not so productive choices and to go down a different path. And I think this book is important to say that even if things are really bad and you've gone through terrible things and terrible situations, that you can make productive choices. You don't have to go down that path. And thankfully, so far, she's the third from the oldest. Her oldest sister is 21, and her next oldest is 18, and they've both done the same thing. I mean, they haven't written books, but they've gone on and made good choices. They're on great paths for their lives. And yeah, and our younger sister's 8, so we still got a little more work on her, and she's kind of a little spitfire, but she's tons of fun. But yeah, so with 3 big sisters that are great examples, and other people, we're very hopeful too. She's super smart and everything too. So
Okay. We did get one more comment from a Margaret, so add that into your
yeah, I got that added. Cool.
All
right.
I agree. I think it's definitely easier to make positive choices if you see. Oh, Christina wants to be entered too. Oh shoot! Here, I'm gonna comment Sarah too. Me too, please. It's definitely easier to make the choices you see other people making around you. So I'm sure that your younger sister is going to be on a great path. I'll let you talk now, Jody.
Okay, all right.
So
I have several things to give away. So I think maybe I'll give like what maybe perceived as the biggest thing first, so most people have a chance. Oh, excuse my, off the camera. Okay, so first thing I have is you'll notice a theme. So it's a plaque. It's wooden. It says "Life is beautiful." So that's the first one, and I just have them in a pile here. So you know it's legit. All right, so the first one is Connie Housenden. She's upstairs, so I'm gonna give that to her. One of the in-persons. The next thing I have is it's kind of a resin little butterfly paperweight thing. So the next thing for that is, what have you drawn? Kristen DeMar. So I will, if you want to email me, Kristen, or anybody that's watching online,
I'll add that in the comments.
email, then with your address, and then so I know where to send it. That'd be cool. All right, the next thing is a Sticker by Nature picture book, and the front cover is butterflies. So you want to pick one thing? Tasha, she's upstairs too, the in person. All right, the next thing is a little, it's a pot hanger with butterfly. Very pretty. You want to draw that one too? Elaine Olson. So Elaine, some of your address. Actually, I know your address, Elaine. Never mind. And a couple more. So my mom makes masks, and so I had started to make these butterfly masks. So I have a blue one, blue, black, green, and purple. So you want to draw those? So one for each of the drawing. Char, that's actually her grandma. She's upstairs. All right, the green one. Christina Frank. So send me your address, Christina. And then the purple one. Wyatt, he's upstairs. You might want to trade it first, Mom. All right, cool. And then the books. So I have 2 signed copies that I'll have Faith sign and send it to whoever wins with, I'll do the bookmark too. So 2 more, you want to draw those. Ken Lefkowitz, I know his address too, so I'll send you a book. And Itzy, who is her other grandma and my mom, so she wins the other book. But I think she already bought it, so she'll have to give it away to somebody else. All right, that's it. That's all the giveaways.
Thank you so much. This was amazing. I'm going to be stupid in awe for a while. Faith, please keep in touch with the Midwest Writing Center. We want you in our pocket.
Yeah, I actually have already kind of told her that next year she should apply for the internship. So, especially if you guys do an online part, because that way she doesn't have to drive 40 minutes. But yeah. Anyway, we'll figure out how to get her there. I wanted to do the camp, and it didn't work out. And so I've been waiting for her to go to this for years. So we're gonna do our best to get her there.
I would love to see you there.
Awesome. You're going to have a great time if you join it. There's a lot of people who will be rooting for you and your success, including me. I'll be there next year, hopefully. So, yeah, you'd be a great addition, and I can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, she told me on the way I picked her up today that the Charlie that she was on Living Local with, she said she actually read last year's Atlas, and hers was one of her favorite pieces. So that was kind of a small world.
Charlie is really talented, but honestly, like the interns we get are just out of this world, and I'm always so humbled by them. Like, how did I get to hang out in your company? You should be teaching me. Everyone who's joining us at home, thank you so much for being here. I'm sure that you are as impressed with Faith as I am. Feel free to keep throwing comments down, send us a message, send Jody a message. I've got her email down in the comments. It's Jody, Jodie, @legacybookpress.com. If you've got any questions for Faith, any questions for Jody, any questions for Legacy Book Press, or you want to do some events, also the Midwest Writing Center, of course, is always here for you. We want to be a resource. We want to help you write more life into your life. I guess that's all I've got. Do you have any goodbye notes for us, Faith?
Just never lose hope and keep going and just do whatever you think is best and don't try to please others.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you guys, Sarah and Christina, for yeah, this was fun. I wasn't sure how it works because I never done this, but yeah, this is really great and fun, and hopefully people enjoyed it, got something out of it, and yeah, thanks again to Midwest Writing Center for hosting it too.
Thank you. And then for those who want to revisit this, we'll be posting it on YouTube first thing tomorrow morning. And I'll post that link then on the Midwest Writing Center page and on the event page for anyone who might want it. Thank you again, Jody. Thank you so much, Faith, for writing this, for being so open and vulnerable, and for putting this out there in the world. It is a gift. Have a great release. Go have your wonderful party, and as always, write more light into your life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.